How incompetent is the world government in One Piece? I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time, but chapter after chapter has been releasing more and more information that's just taking over my brain. But now that we're on a very long break, I decided to go ahead and dive into this subject and talk about all of the times the world government has totally screwed themselves over. So I've been watching One Piece for a long time, and I've always thought that the world government, or at least the Marines, were inept, or just not up to the task of actually policing this world. And you get it all the way back from Axe Hand Morgan. He's cruelly handling, or kind of basically seemingly ruling over this town and allowing his child to just run free and cause chaos, and then locking up people who are actually standing up for themselves. So all the way from the jump, we knew that the world government was at least just gonna be a piece of shit, right? But they didn't have to be this incompetent. They actually allow a lot of the stuff that happens in the One Piece manga, or the story rather, to just take place, okay? Because they've controlled this world, so to speak, for about 800 years. You know, all the way to the top, Emu, the Gorosei, the admirals, and the world government, and the celestial dragons, and all of them. They've been running this world for 800 years. So everything that happens is basically their fault. And it was never any clearer than when the CP9 agents infiltrated Galley Company in Water 7, posing as shipwrights and just trying to weasel out the information about the blueprints of Pluton. Now, they spent a lot of time, I watched The Wire, so I'm an expert about police proceedings and, you know, the undercover arts and what they have to do to set up a case. But they didn't do any of that. They just posed as shipwrights, spent a whole bunch of time getting paid the entire time. And I'm pretty sure CP9 agents get paid, you know, a premium salary. So they're sitting there just living a normal life, enjoying themselves. This is easy work to them. These are super powerful people. And they get nothing out of it. They never really find out where the blueprints were. And when they were revealed to them, Frankie just set them on fire. So like all of that was just wasted time. And then they attract the ire of Luffy, which turned out to be a really big mistake, by capturing Robin and trying to take her away when she had joined another crew. The wrong crew. They messed with the wrong crew, basically. So that whole debacle was the beginning for me. That was when I realized, okay, the world government may not have their shit together, and they may just be incompetent and not up to the task of actually ruling this world. Another reason I thought they were super incompetent kind of started to, you know, reveal itself really early on after we learned the story of O'Hara and about these people learning how to read the Ponyglyphs. I thought to myself, why didn't the government just get all the Ponyglyphs and keep them hidden? Right? I mean, we know that you can move Ponyglyphs. Big Mom has some in her island, which they weren't there originally. We saw Jinbei grab a Ponyglyph and bring it to her, so you can move these things. But it didn't seem like the world government made any effort to go find these things and capture them. And it seemed like Alabasta, a member of the world government at the time, a kingdom, knew, and held a Ponyglyph, and there was nothing done about it. They didn't confiscate it. Like, this should be contraband. All of these things should be confiscated and brought away and brought securely somewhere else. And as long as they have that under control, well, no worry, nobody's gonna learn about what happened in the Void Century now, are they? Now, it's a little more clear that maybe they didn't really have that under control, like maybe somebody teleported them into several different locations all around the world, and so they were kind of lost. But that still doesn't excuse 800 years of no searching, you know? Maybe after the first few 400 years, they weren't showing up, so they just thought they were gone forever. And then by the last 500 years, were just complacent, and they just didn't really care to look anymore because who knows when they're all going to show up. And another thing they failed to do for the last 800 years is stop the Revolutionary Army. And I know Revolutionary Army hasn't been around for 800 years, but there's no way that rebellions and revolutions have not taken place in the last 800 years besides just now. All of a sudden, there's a huge revolutionary army that seems to be well-funded, very powerful, very skilled. Like, they just had a team run up into the world government's headquarters, like main place where everybody stays and hangs out, like where they think they're safe, take a prisoner and escape alive. That cannot be. That cannot happen, all right? Imagine anybody, a small group especially, infiltrating the highest parts of our government, or the highest, like just say like just a a castle for a king. Let's just say that, right? Just to make it easy. And then escaping. It's a scandal. Like, they would never let it pass. And of course, you know, they lost a whole island in pursuit of them. But that leads me to my next one. They cannot kill anybody that is actually threatening them. Sabo just escapes twice. He escapes death twice. Once by Emu, his piercing, you know, he got onto his ship, safe and sound, or I mean, he's bleeding out, but he eventually wound up being safe. And then when they tried to kill him on Lelucia, he wasn't really on Lelucia in the first place. So like, they are failing time and time again. Hell, the Celestial Dragon failed to kill him when he was just in the way back when you know, Luffy and all of them were little tykes. And speaking of failing to killing somebody, how many times are they gonna fail to stop Luffy? My God, after he defeated Crocodile, he was on their radar. Then after Enies Lobby, he had to have been like persona non grata. Like, he had to have been the main new pirate to stop. Okay, and even after he punched a Celestial Dragon in the face and they called a Buster Call for him and an Admiral came after him, he, luckily, still escaped. He broke people out of Impel Down, right? Came to the world government, I mean, to the greatest war in Marineford, and then snatched up his brother, right? And then, of course, his brother did die. But they still cannot kill Luffy. Like, if they just made it a priority, he would have really been dead. But it's like, they just beating around the bush. They don't really want to do it, you know? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, if they're really going after him, go after him, you know? Now, of course, it would be a very short series if they actually succeeded in killing him, so I understand some plot armor has to happen, but it doesn't seem like they're doing a very good job of trying to go after him. I mean, I would say that the strongest attempt was Enshibuori, and yeah, maybe if Rayleigh didn't step in, and then, of course, you know, the real Kuma stepping in and sending them all away, maybe they would have got him. I mean, it definitely looked really bad for them with the pacifistas. There was really nothing they can do, but Kuma wound up being the real threat when he came down to it, but he was really just helping him out. So the failure to and afterwards, let's not even talk about this new era, after the time skip when they tried to do the whole thing with the CP0 agents on the top of Onigashima. Can't wait to see that anime, by the way. Can't wait to see that animated, by the way. But man, that was fucking dumb. That was your big plan? Just kind of distract him? Hey, wow. Alright, job your head's done. No more threat to the government. What a stupid plan. Assassinate him already. God. But yeah, that's nothing compared to the #1 reason why the world government is inept or just dumb. They allow this entire generation of pirates to exist, okay? So you're telling me you're gonna let a pirate get to the end of the world, learn secrets that no one has known for 800 years, and meanwhile you're trying to keep this 800-year-old secret still secret, and you're locking people up, and you're taking people out if they know too much. You even took out a whole island for learning how to read Ponyglyphs, but you're gonna allow the person who's found all these secrets, found all the Ponyglyphs, and, you know, coordinated himself to get to Raftail. Who knows what secrets he learned there, right? And you're gonna give him an audience of other pirates, miscreants, just regular folk. Give him a platform to speak right before you execute him. Just kill him somewhere else, you know? Like, what happened to the days where, you know, an evil government would kill the bad guys and then just put his head on a pike? If that was the case, everybody would have understood that Roger is dead, the world government did it, and no one would have learned about the One Piece, and this whole story wouldn't have taken place. They allowed him to speak, and so they allowed this entire generation of pirates, and ultimately what Luffy is going to wind up being, it's probably their salvation of the world, to pass. So you can only blame yourselves, world government. You guys suck at government. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here and say that real quick this week. I'll definitely have some more videos coming out for the rest of this break. Just going back and just reanalyzing what we learned and maybe looking forward a little bit and what I hope to see, which I really hope we get to see more from the world government's perspective and maybe justify some of these terrible mistakes, or at least have somebody within the government questioning the leadership. I mean, right? Anyway, if you want to be here for it, make sure you're subscribed. Like this video. Let me know what you think the world government's biggest mistakes were in the comments below, and I'll see you next week.